I'm going to be speaking to you about they know exactly what they did to you, and they know you know too. See, the bottom line is, when you've done a lot of self-reflection, you get these things. When you have a lot of like time where you're able to reflect and you're introspective and you like meditate and stuff like that, you start to realize you get downloads, and especially you definitely get downloads, and these downloads essentially are just like your best. You can consider it like your best representation of why something happened. Your best explanation as to why something happened. And when you really have, when you've really been living clean, essentially, where you're able to, work out consistently, meditate is a very big important thing, because it's like allowing things to finally calm down, and, for you to be sharp, and you have high intuition. You start getting these downloads, and these downloads kind of tell you, they might be nudges from the Most High. They might be your guides. It might be something where you have a legit reason as to why you believe something because of intuition. They say, quote, just trust me, bro. That's what some people are saying. Trust me, bro. That's what some people say, that some people just, listening to you say. And the thing is, it's like, at some point, it's not necessarily just trust them, bro, but you really gotta have to realize, like, who you're listening to, and explain to yourself why they believe something like that, and then try to put it in your own, take it for yourself, put it into your own idea of how your life works, and just see if it even makes sense. So essentially, they know exactly what they did to you, and they know you know too. See, the thing is about humans is, like, whatever you're thinking, more often than not, the other person that you're thinking about, they may be thinking the same thing. People aren't as dumb as you think they are. A lot of people know what they're doing anytime they do it, And the thing is, the reason why they know what they're doing is because they're human. You're human too. So if you have a nudge, you have this idea about someone, and then they're doing it as well too, that means that that means that you guys, we're all, since we're all human, we have sometimes have the same thoughts, desires, and things that other people have as well too. So, for example, maybe it's someone in your past. They know exactly what they did to you. They might have been playing hard to get. Some people call it hard to get or something like that, where you were trying, maybe for them to get to like you. That's what you were trying for them to do, and they resisted because they weren't ready for that type of. They weren't really ready for them to look at themselves in the mirror. See, the thing is, as crazy as this may seem, you are a reflection to other people in a way. And the thing is, the people who don't really want to face you might be triggered by you. You might be a reflection of them. You might be a reflection of their insecurities. In one of Drake's verses, he was like, "Do not disturb." He was like, "I am a reflection of all your insecurities." What does that really mean? What it really means is that there's some people who are insecure because you're positioning yourself in a way where they can't look at themselves because maybe they didn't have the courage to do what you're doing. Or there's this thing where, there's something about them that you may either like or not like, and it might remind you of yourself. So this really comes down to, you have to realize that we're all connected. Everything is connected. We're not as different as a lot of people may think they are. We're all human. We all we all shit the same. We all eat. We all have we have similar emotions. We're all doing all these things. We're all similar in a sense. So knowing this, you have to use this, this knowledge in terms of your day to day, and especially when it comes to the people that you have relationships with, either romantic relationships or even just normal friend relationships, sibling relationships, any of that nature. So all I'm saying is that when they did something to you, they know exactly what they did to you. They know exactly what they did to you because it was planned. They know they were doing it on purpose. There was maybe this idea that they weren't 100% comfortable with you, and because they weren't 100% comfortable with you, They try to sabotage you. They didn't respect you. They try to do everything in their power so you could get away with them because they couldn't really face themselves. And exact what you are is literally a mirror to them. The strongest, the highest form is something that they can't necessarily face. So they try everything to try to get away from you. This is what you call the runner slash chaser dynamic. And so don't be. A lot of guys are they're speaking about like all the things that she did and stuff like that. She ran away, blah blah blah. She did this, she did that, and essentially she knew what she was doing because she wasn't necessarily ready to face you. And another thing is too is this also might be a reflection of yourself as well too. There's something that you weren't doing that they needed you to do and you just weren't taking care of, and this is why they might have treated you in a way that you honestly may not have liked. So the whole gist of this is that the reflection of people, whether they're treating you well or they're treating you bad, is literally either some things that, it's a reflection of you, something that you're doing very well, or some things that you're not doing so well that you can't really face. And this is why people act out the way that they do. This is so all, everything behind this is like, there's a reason why people do things. It's literally never a coincidence. There's something that you have that they may want. There's something that you haven't done that they think that you need to do, and you just haven't done it. And you're always going to get the same test until you finally figure it out on your own. So, and they know it too. See, the thing is, there's every time someone says something, there's always something that's said between the lines. Always said something between the lines, and the people who can pick up on this are usually the ones who have high emotional intelligence, who get far in like some relationships and stuff like that, because they always can read between the lines. If you're able, some people can read between the lines. There's a sixth sense, the sixth sense that you have. And this starts to happen to you once you start becoming more intuitive. You start to increase your intuition. That you might predict things that happen in the future or something like that. But just because you have a higher sense, you have infinite. You're connected to infinite intelligence. This permeation of invisible substance that permeates itself and manifests itself into anything that anything that you can think of. You've literally seen it. Anything that you can think of, anything that you see in the physical was once a thought in somebody else's mind. It got permeated and transmuted into physical substance with penetration and physical exertion. And this is exactly how you see things from day in and day out. So the thing is, they know exactly what they did to you, and they know too. She knows that she was acting out on purpose. They know that they were just trying to get rid of you because they couldn't necessarily face themselves. You were the highest example of who someone should be, and they were honestly just not ready to face themselves. So they did everything they could to sabotage you. They did everything they could to throw you off your game because they couldn't face themselves, and now you're left with the consequences. So this is the truth. So all I'm saying is, like, don't be naive. Don't just think that they just did it because of something. It's usually more of a internal battle they have with themselves, that they're not honestly willing to face. And this is what you have to realize. They know exactly what they did to you, and they know too. We all are communicating subconsciously every single day. So there's always subconscious communication. Now, for example, like the older generation, they were never really taught to like deal with their emotions, so they never really necessarily really open up in a way that you find okay. So they know. And the thing is, what you have to realize is that because of life and everything like that, we all, like I said, we all are the same. We are all the same. We're all similar. And what you're thinking, at least maybe once, it may definitely pop up in someone else's mindset, if not more. This is what you always have to remember. So anytime you get mistreated or people act clueless and stuff like that, they're not necessarily acting clueless. They just don't want to face the truth. And this is exactly what you have to realize, So in order for you to increase some of these things, like I said, you need to increase your intuition. You need to meditate consistently. You need to take in a lot of, higher consciousness type of thing. You need to have different conversations with people. You do realize the type of conversations you have is usually what you're going to get. Just look at the some of the people that you spend the most time with. What are you guys usually talking about most of the time? If whatever you're usually talking about most of the time is usually what you're going to start getting in life, or you're going to start seeing. Example, if you're talking about, oh, you're going to get a ticket for something, you're attracting these situations to you based off of your conversation and your thought process. This is what you have to realize. So talk about things that you actually want in your life. You're going to start seeing more of a reflection of these things in your life. And the number one thing is not needing. See, the thing is, why is it always that whenever you get something new, all the other people are looking to come into your life? Maybe example, you were trying to get a job, you finally got one, and now all of a sudden all these people are calling up, giving you offers because you no longer need them. You no longer need them. This is exactly what I want you to, what I want you to put in your brain, is that when you no longer need something, that's when everything comes to you. When you no longer, for example, if you no longer need her, that's when she automatically starts opening herself up to you and wants you more because of it. This is what you have to realize. This is something that you have to keep in your mind. Realize that all humans are similar in a way, and the people who act strange around you, there's something that you have that they may not want to face. There's something that you haven't done that you don't want to face. They don't want to face. With that being said, I hope that video helped you out. Like, comment, subscribe.